Good afternoon, folks. This is Deb Delapiana, and this is a short take. So we're going to start hammering on November from the get-go. As we start posting tonight, the Factivist report, the subject will be voting. So I want to talk about a little headline I saw that the Democrats are going to make abortion a big message for the November 2024 election. And the headline then, went into, will that be enough? Well, let me just say this. And I'm speaking primarily to the ladies out there of all ages, whether you're my age, I'm going to be 70 in February, or whether you're a Gen Zer, okay? It should be enough. It should, because they've already overturned Roe v. Wade. And those same three justices are still sitting on the Supreme Court. And by the way, they are signaling already that they are going to limit muffapristone for women. They haven't given us that decision yet, but I remember all the banter and the chatter and the talk going on with Roe v. Wade and people telling me it was a distraction, it was never going to happen. You know what? You ought to know by now that they don't care about precedent. What they care about is doing the bidding of Donald Trump, who put them in there for this purpose, ladies. And by the way, men who support women. And by the way, if there are men out there, and I know there are because I see them every day at work, who really actually don't really think twice about a woman's right to anything, even if they have women in their lives, you better start caring. You're kind of low character if you can't even stand up for your significant other. Okay. But let me just talk to you for a few minutes before I get into the rest of this conversation about what Roe v. Wade has done, because not a lot of the media reports on this stuff. So let me talk to you just about 2 or 3 cases. In Tennessee, a woman who actually wanted to have children, okay? She was denied a life-saving abortion because a trigger law went into effect on the day that Roe was overturned. So instead, in order to take care of her problem, she had to have an emergency hysterectomy. And that means she can never have children again. That's not what she wanted. She wasn't having an abortion because she didn't want children. She wanted a family. So everybody's being affected by this nonsense that's going on. In Oklahoma, a mother of 3 learned that her 4th pregnancy was non-viable and had actually resulted in a rare cancer. Her doctors were powerless to do anything to help her. She was forced to wait in the parking lot until her condition became serious enough where they could actually intervene. That's the kind of shit that you see in third world countries. But I guess actually, that's what the Republicans are turning America into, whether you want to face that fact or not. You can keep your head in the sand all you want. In Florida, a woman's water broke 16 weeks into her pregnancy. Now, they couldn't do a thing about that. They could just give her antibiotics and send her home. And guess what? Before she could be treated, she had to lose half of her blood in her body. And by the way, she came really close to death. People, this is not what we do here in the United States. Okay? This is the stuff of fascism. A Handmaid's Tale was not supposed to be a blueprint, but it has become one here. And I'm going to tell women this across the board. I don't care if you're not of childbearing years, for you not to stand up for your rights just because of your age is unconscionable. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's chatter out there all day long about how women shouldn't have the right to vote. What's to stop them from doing that if they get into power? How do you think you're going to stop them? You're going to storm the Capitol? I'm just curious how you think you're going to stop them. We solve our problems at the voting booth. You have an opportunity in November. You better take it, because I will tell you this right now, whether they dance around it or not, the plan is to pass a nationwide abortion ban that will supersede anything that a blue state has to codify abortion on a state level. So here in Massachusetts, you know what? We'd be in just as much trouble as somebody in Virginia. Understand what I'm saying. When the Republicans take power, there is no safe state. Okay? They are already filing legislation to prevent women from traveling to get an abortion. Okay? I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't. People who are talking about sitting out the election because they're not excited about it, this isn't a question of you going out and finding the best personality to vote for. We're not talking about a fucking show, a red carpet show, or a comedy with someone's funny and someone's entertaining and someone isn't. We're talking about fascism versus democracy. If you think there are any solutions in fascism, you have not been paying attention to history, have you? Hell no. We all extol the virtues of, Che Guevara and Fidel Castro, but really what they did was they got rid of Batista and put in their own regime. You know what, folks? Wake up here, all right? You can vote in the United States. We are 31st in the world in voter turnout. That is not only unconscionable, it is embarrassing. And quite frankly, I know we staved off the red wave, but guess what? When you saw how many years when we went to vote at the midterms, how many years had we been exposed to Donald Trump by then? 6, right? 6 years of watching these guys in action under that hack, that absolute fucking criminal, the absolute criminal that he has always been. We could only muster 52% of voters at the midterm level. What's the matter? No president? You think that's the only problem? It isn't the only problem. It isn't. He's got a bunch of minions in the House and the Senate. He's actually controlling the House and the Senate right now, and he's not even the fucking president. Okay? They're marching to his orders. You are either going to get rid of this bastard and all of these clowns that are left behind in the House and the Senate, where I'd like to remind you that we are stuck with Ted Cruz and several other senators, Rand Paul, until 2029. So if you think this is going to be a one-off voting thing, it ain't. You need to develop better voting habits. We need to develop better voting habits in this nation if we intend to keep democracy. The genie is out of the bottle and it's not going back in. So it's up to you and me. And ladies, if this isn't enough for you yet, I'm going to leave you with this thought. Next week on our show, we're going to be talking about the next case that the Supreme Court is going to be taking on, which is I can't even remember the name of the doctrine now, the Chevron doctrine, which, by the way, will gut regulatory agencies. It will gut the government's ability to use the EPA, OSHA, so you can forget any kind of safe working practices. All of that shit will get on the crapper, okay? One of the other things that we will not be able to use is the FTC, okay? And Google and other services collect data from all kinds of places, including from women who are online seeking out abortions. There will be nothing to stop the FTC from turning over that information to bounty hunters. And by the way, the Texas law is set up to work with bounty hunters because you are encouraged to tell on your neighbor if they get an abortion. You can get $10,000 if you take that to court. People, you know what? Ladies, we are in the majority now in this country. We better get our asses out there. You better get your asses out there, and you better get out there and start talking to everybody else about getting their asses out there. I will talk to you all later.